Hello guys, Dior's here. Um, just showing off some shotgun shells I reloaded. What's different about these shotgun shells from the usual ones I reload is that these are entirely homemade, like completely homemade from the ground up, with the exception of the end caps, okay? So these are paper shotgun shells. I was always curious to know what it's like to reload paper shotgun shells. I've reloaded hundreds, if not thousands, of plastic shotgun shells. I was just curious to know what it's like to reload paper ones. And I was just curious to know what the limitations were. Been searching around online, and I just could not find any paper shotgun shells. There were some people on Etsy that were selling them, but they wanted like $8 for 5 empty pre-fired paper shotgun shells, and I just wasn't going to pay that kind of money, so I decided to get a little creative. So I've only got 2 of them. I mean, technically I got 3, but this other one here kind of got a little screwed up during the loading process. It got all bunched up. So yeah, it's all crinkled up. This thing won't even cycle through my shotgun. But so I started out with some damaged plastic holes, and what I did is I cut the plastic hole off, and well, they were still plastic hole on the side, and then there was also a plastic wad insert right here. I couldn't actually get those to separate from these end caps, so I actually had to take these on a propane stove and burn those off. That's why these brass holes. The brass cases are a little bit discolored. That's only because of the process of me trying to get all the plastic off. Now these actually, I polish these up fairly good, but there's still some residue of them being burned. I plan on making some shorties, some short, low brass shells, but primarily got a whole bunch of these high brass. So this one happens to be a Remington end cap. This one right here is a Winchester, and I figure since it's a Winchester cap, I go ahead and put a Winchester overshot card on here. By the way, these overshot cards that I use on all my shells, including the clear plastic ones, those are all homemade. These ones are punched out of cardboard. Actually, what I did right here, because I'm trying to stick with more of a traditional look, I decided to just go with all paper shot cards, the only overshot cards. The only thing is what I did was behind this the cardboard disc of these shot cards, I put one plastic disc behind it just for it's for reinforcement purposes. I usually double up on my shot cards, especially since mine are homemade. I always put 2 plastic overshot cards whenever I'm doing like a rolled crimp on my shells. These are no different. So the paper is just, the paper overshot card is just more for aesthetics. Just trying to maintain the traditional look. I can tell you right now, paper versus plastic. Plastic is going to be the more superior shotgun hole. I don't care what anybody says. It's much, much more rugged. These are very, very delicate. That, I don't know, like I said, it could be the fact of could be my method of construction of the holes. These holes are, I used what was it, sketch paper, okay? Heavyweight artist sketch paper. Cut it up into strips, and I rolled it onto a dowel. These are about 4 layers thick, so that could play into the reason why they're a little bit on the more delicate side. I might consider, like I said, the next batch that I build, I might consider making the holes a little bit more thicker. This probably explains why this one got a little bit chewed up while I was reloading it. I'm still going to shoot this one off just to see what the hell happens. But yeah, like I said, I'd say this, out of all of these, this one probably turned out the best. This one's probably second best. Lastly, the one thing I could say about these two, paper shells, I can't put a star crimp on these because the press just chews up the completely chews up the paper hole. It doesn't. These paper holes don't like star crimps. I thought maybe I'd try a 6-point star crimp on one of them, but I completely screwed it up. So I guess it's just going to be roll crimps and overshot cards for these only. Yeah, I guess go ahead and put one of these in my Mossberg here. We're going to see what happens. Try to cycle it. This is kind of difficult to do one-handed. All right. Shoot, hang on one sec. Should probably. All right, good. All right, we're going to try this again. Put it on safe. There we go. It's on safe. All right, we're going to put paper shell in. Surprisingly, it goes in pretty good. They're not the greatest looking. All right, we're going to try to rack this one-handed. So difficult to do. All right. Let's see if we can't press the... There we go. Well, as you can see, they do cycle. They do cycle. They're not the best shell, but I gotta tell you, it is a little bit of a pride thing knowing that you built something from the ground up, and as far as you can tell, it works. I'm just gonna let you know these are very time consuming to build. I'd say from start to finish, I probably spent about 4 hours on just these three, and that one got all chewed up. So, but I'm willing to spend 4 or 5 more hours building a few more. Probably the biggest time consuming portion of this is building the holes and then getting those caps attached to the hole. But anyhow, maybe I might do a video on how to make these. I'm going to make a few more just to see how easy it is to build these. Maybe I can get better, maybe refine the process. And like I said, maybe add a couple more layers of paper to the actual holes so that they're a little bit thicker, a little bit more rigid. I lightly coated these with a little bit of paraffin wax, but it's not really staying on all that well. I might see if I can't figure out a process of impregnating these with paraffin wax so a little bit more water resistant. That is one thing I can tell you. Back during World War I and the trench warfare, the trench shotguns, they had the paper shotgun shells. They actually had to go with an all brass shell because the issue ended up being that with the paper shells, when they get wet, they swell up and then they're completely unusable. They won't chamber, they won't cycle. So, yeah, that is probably one other reason why plastic and even all brass holes are far more superior than paper holes. Anyhow, I think I've let this run on long enough. I'm Diorce, and I'm out. You guys have yourselves a good one. Bye-bye.